Hey friends, welcome to episode 232 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. Today we have a great house in store for you over towards Casa Linda over in East Dallas.
And in our second segment, we're going to talk about a zip code update in 75229 and give you a little bit more detail than we usually do in some of our other videos.
Lots of great information. You've probably seen the ones that we do. We roll them out as reels both on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I think that's all that we do right now, which is plenty to keep us busy. For sure. Aside from the weather, it has been hot out there right now.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy, crazy hot. I'm going to keep hydrating today.
You keep doing that. It's interesting because I have on several different groups that text that are pickleball specific, and it has all been talking about how hot it has been just recently and how difficult it is playing out there.
Are there anywhere that are indoor pickleball courts that are not, well, I mean, Chicken and Pickle is, but any like municipal courts, or does your Brookhaven have indoor courts that are climate controlled?
So they have indoor, so you don't have the sun, but that also means that they're just screened so you don't get any breeze. So they have big ass fans. So I'm gonna play in one of them this week, so I'll let you know how that is. But I don't know. It's tough out there right now. I was working in the studio this week, and I think once it hit like 97 degrees, I was just sweating too much. It was a fail. I just had to put it up. I was like, this is gonna be interesting to see how this plays itself out. How was your weekend?
It was good. I went to happy hour and dinner with some friends on Friday night, and then Saturday, oh gosh, what did I do on Saturday? Saturday, the day I got up and I started planting.
That's right.
Yeah, I started planting more plants, watering those that I have, repotting some of those that I have.
Well, it's interesting because we've had so much rain that everything is still so green, and just there's so much moisture in the air and in the ground that the heat index is through the roof.
Yeah, I think right now anyway, the because of the heat itself, the temperature number itself, things are drying out quickly. Like today's not near as humid as it was yesterday, or like it was, anytime over the weekend, but it's also hotter today. And I think, especially now we've got to start watching the plants because, especially if you're in pots, if they're potted, they're going to dry out a lot faster than they are sitting in the ground.
All day long. Yeah. It's almost getting to the point where it'll be a daily occurrence. Well, this is also the time of the year when our real estate market really begins to pick up. And so what we like to do right now is take this time to talk about the actual market here in Dallas, looking at just the last 7 days, trying to get away from all the big information, just dive down. And this is what we found out.
So coming soons are up 18%, and that is in Dallas County. There were 86 coming soon listings. Coming soon is a status we get to use in MLS that when something's coming on the market, it's a way to let other realtors know it's coming on. They're not allowed to show it, but it's kind of that first sign of new things coming in. New active listings were down 11%. That's 458 still new active listings in the Dallas County market in the last year. And option period, it's that the first status you go to when you're under contract is down 7% to 357.
And so the second status that a contract goes into is actually pending. And this means we're one step closer to getting it to the closing table. And that's down 11% to 152 units. And then solds, that's up 5% over last week at 323, which is up 16. And now mortgage rates. Now mortgages are holding steady. Last week they were 6.7. This week they're 6.67. And that's per Optimal Blue reporting. It's a website that gives you lots of great information. One of the interesting things about that is that they'll actually allow you to track it, so you can kind of see what's happening both with FHA, jumbo, conventional, all that information. I've got a quick question for you. Jeff, if you were guessing, what would be the median price or the median percentage closed to listed price in the last 7 days?
If you're looking at closed to current list price, it was probably in the 98 to 99% range.
Average was 98, and median is actually 100%. So you were right on the money.
There's our MLS tracks that really interesting thing that it tracks the percentage of the price sold compared to the original sales price, which I'm really glad they do, because you know, a lot of times uh, people will market a home after they've sold it and say, we sold it for 100% of the list price. Well, maybe their last list price.
Last list price. It is key.
One that was 15% higher that they, anyway.
And I wish it was a little more accurate, but right now we're looking at a median days to under contract at 13, which is double versus last year. Last year we were looking at 6 or less. So that is a good sign. The market is trying to stabilize. Again, great inventory time. If you're bringing it on the market, let us know. We'd love to help you with that.
So jumping into our home today, this is a really, really great home at 2954 Rambling Drive, 75228. As Weston said earlier, it's over near Casa Linda. This is off the intersection, near the intersection of Garland Road and Loop 12, or Buckner, whichever you call it, right through there. Really, I think a super convenient neighborhood because you've got such proximity to LBJ. That's not LBJ right there. That's Ferguson, I believe. But you've got really good access to LBJ freeway to go up and around if you need, or you can also hit I-30 and come into downtown, and your commute's really going to be super simple.
And the other thing too is if you're not from this area, you know, one of the great things about living in North Texas, especially in Dallas, is that you have access to 2 great airports. So you have both Love Field and DFW Airport, which is international and get you to and from just about anywhere in the United States. The other thing that we like to point out at this time is we like to talk about what are some of the local haunts that are in this area. And one of the things you need to know when you're in this area is Casa Linda Plaza. And this is started, I believe, in the 40s. This is a great shopping center that has really experienced revitalization with both 2 different grocery stores that have come in. And as we were talking prior to the show, neither one of us had realized that Rodeo Goat is now over there. And Rodeo Goat has some of the best hamburgers and french fries there are.
And they're, we think they're in the inn that's down, we know they're in the inn down by where the old Highland Park Cafe used to be, but if that's the space that they've taken over, that's a really cool space.
It's a great space. There's also one of the local hardware stores called Elliott's. If you're from Dallas, you know where Elliott's is. They're wonderful. They actually hire people that know what you need when you walk in. It's very different than someone whipping out their phone, telling you it's on aisle 12, bin 14. These guys walk you right to it and ask you what you're doing, and then they correct you and move you over to the other place and sell you what you need, which is really great. So check out Elliott's if you ever do need small home improvements.
So the other thing we wanted to talk about today is the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And this is the Dallas chapter of it. This organization's actually been around since the 1800s, late 1800s, and they are just a civic-minded, national pride. They don't get off into any 2 sides of anything. They are really just down the middle, and they want to provide a really great time. And one of their charitable arms from this is they are a not-for-profit corporation. So a lot of their money does go to charity after operating expenses, and they really focus what they do on people that are in need in the East Dallas area.
If you haven't been, it is a great time. It is as close to anything that you can get out of Austin here in Dallas. So if that's something that you love, this is a go-to. It's easy come, first serve. $10 to get in. I believe they also serve drinks the entire day. I've been there, had a great time. Pool is huge. It is a huge, diverse group of people. So definitely, and you can see right there, FOE. If you hear anybody call it that, that's what they're talking about, because it doesn't people don't always say Fraternal Order of Eagles. It just doesn't roll off the tongue like FOE does.
And a lot of times, from what I understand, they are implementing a limit to the number of people that can come in a day. So if you are planning to go out there and spend the day, get out there early, because otherwise you might not get in.
And people don't. You bring your own seats. If you don't get one of the ones that they have, bring your own beach towels. You just need to get there. You're right. And also, one of my favorites, the Samuel Grand Tennis Center is open over here and now has pickleball for everyone that loves to play. This is a great area over there in the Tennyson Tennis Park, I believe is what it is
Tennyson,
called.
Yep.
So
Samuel
if you're
Grand, yep.
looking for this, check this out. It was joking. Someone the other day called it, pickleball is the largest intramural sport taking fire here in the United States.
Wow.
So We'll go with that. Heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
So let's take a look at 2954 Rambling Drive. This is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, just under 2,600 square feet, and is priced at $565,000. And this is a great, quiet cul-de-sac neighborhood. If you are looking for a house that will not break the budget but give you everything that you need, this is one that I would definitely put at the top of the list.
I would too, and this is built in 1982. It has been updated and well cared for. You've got great drive-up appeal like you saw in the last photo. When you come in the front door, you have your formal dining room, which is, I'm sure those walls used to be very closed off and only have doorways coming in. I think the owners have done an amazing job of opening that up. This is all the flooring that you're seeing there is that luxury vinyl product, and it is highly durable. If you have pets, it is the answer for sure.
And I like the fact that it was opened up and opened tastefully. You still know where your rooms are, but this is the way that we see so many of today's buyers wanting to live. That combination of both the dining room into the living room and then opens up back into the kitchen, those all work so well. The other thing too is that the color palette is a very neutral color palette that actually works with just about whatever you bring into this home. So it gives you a template, or it gives you a backdrop to do whatever you need to. They've taken and actually have, you're going to see it in this next one, but they've done a real interesting configuration for this back area that typically was where we would see the built-ins done. This is a really quick spot for your breakfast table, but the built-ins, I believe, if they were there, were removed, and they've come back with a really great configuration for both a dry wine or a dry bar. So
yeah, and the refrigerator made a lot of sense going right there in the middle of that. This is kind of what I'm trying to talk Adrian into in his house, but we'll see.
You'll get to that. Downstairs, you have your master bedroom, and this is a really large master bedroom with a tray ceiling. It's a little difficult to capture how large it is until you kind of swing around, and you can see just there's almost another seating area right here if you wanted to. It does allow for a lot more flexibility at different times in your life, depending on how many people are in the house. It makes sense, and a really well done master bathroom. It just kept going with those clean lines and soft colors.
The ceramic tile, I think, really goes well. Like you said, the double vanity sink there. It's a big enough room. You do not feel crowded whatsoever. As you walk out of the master bedroom, that's the downstairs view, and you would head right up those stairs, and as you got to the top, this is the view you would have. Game room, additional living space. They use it for an office. You really have room enough for 2 offices there. Lit really, really well. Lots of natural light. I don't know if those window type things in the wall there looking down the staircase were original, but they were a really smart move.
So if you're a family that needs to be able to live and work from home, this is one of the houses that I would put at the top of the list. The configuration, both to bedroom to bathroom to the second living room that Jeff was talking about upstairs, make a lot of sense and provide a lot of versatility for so many different home buyers that the house just makes sense. It's at that really sweet spot as well, where it seems like that number is the new starter home price, which is just amazing. 3 years ago, it didn't feel like it was that, but today we have that. The other thing too that made me comfortable about this house at this price point is the amount of work that had been done inside the house. I don't feel like there was anything left to do, only personal touches. And as you can see here, the fence on the right-hand side has been stained and is board on board, which is really great. And it is a little bit of an oversized lot because of the way that it is configured. And here's your bonus.
And really a great, great pool. You've got a deck that has been built off to the backside of the lot there that I think is like perfect location for that. Hot tub, lots of deck space, move-in ready.
It is. So this is 2954 Rambling Drive. It's a 4-bedroom, 3 full and 1 half bath, 2-car garage, built in 1982, just under 2,600 square feet. Priced at $565,000, which is 220 square foot. That is a really good price point. And we want to say thank you so much to Carrie Hill for allowing us to feature your home. It is an amazing home.
And if you'd like to take a look at any of the other pictures that we didn't get to use today, there is a link below. There are also links to all of the neighborhood amenities that we mentioned early. And if there's anything else you'd like to know about the house, just put a comment in there. We'd be happy to make that happen. And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 231 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we thought it'd be really important for us to talk about the real estate updates for 75229 in North Dallas.
So we do these videos. If you haven't seen them before, I think they're worth watching because they're very, very quick. And one of the things that we're doing is giving real estate updates based upon certain zip codes. And so I'll do one week, Weston will pick a different zip code, do one that week. I'll do a different one the next week. And we kind of work our way back around. But they're sometimes really quick. And if you didn't see it until a week after it was done, the data isn't really as good at that point. So we thought we would spend a little bit more time just talking about 75229. And we've got a couple of slides that we want to show you.
So it's real important for us to take and drill down into the 75229 because it's very different than what the entire Dallas area or the MLS is for sure. So this gives us a way to take and look at both. Wait, are we going to bring that slide up?
I heard it, but I wasn't sure if that was right.
Okay, go ahead.
Like,
yeah, there it is. Bingo.
Okay.
We're good.
We're good. So what we want to do is take and look at all of the inventory that is in the actual 75229. And right now, there are 7 of those that have the status coming soon. And that's not a required field. So that's really just kind of an indicator for other listing agents to tell people in the marketplace, here we come. The current total active is 57. And that is a decent number for this zip code.
It is, and the number of pendings in the zip code right now are 27. So it is a very, very active zip code. Jumping onto the close, there were 36 closings in this zip code in the last 30 days. I believe that was the only one I limited because I didn't want to see how long every closing that ever occurred in 75229 would be billions. So,
well, the other thing too is that some of the qualifiers that we put on this was we capped it because when we actually pulled the data inside of the zip code, some of them were so high priced and such a one-off that they'd actually throw the numbers way off. So there was a cutoff point of 15 million in this area for us to be able to look at it. Aside from that, we looked at all single family, all duplexes, condos. So it does give us a great cross section, but if you're someone who's just looking at single family home, we would want to rework this numbers for you to give you a lot more specifics.
And in total inventory, jumping to that second slide, with this one, we're going to look at only things that have happened in the last 30 days. And so 7, actually it's the same number as before, 7 coming soon, so usually those have to occur within 30 days, so that number being the same doesn't surprise me. The number of active listings that have come into the market in the last 30 days has been 25. So if you think back to the other slide a moment ago, just under half of the inventory in that zip code is brand new.
Which is really interesting because that tells you, like, the market is telling you that first 25 or that remaining 25 that's carrying over from 30 days ago, that is probably going to see a price adjustment here in the real near future. And then if we go forward and look at what's pending, so there are 22 pendings, and in all there are 27. So that is telling you that there is a lot happening right here. That if it comes in, it is absorbing. It's almost every 2 houses, half of them are gone.
Yes.
And as Jeff said, what we looked at, 36 were total closed, and that number does carry forward from the first slide. So it is very consistent out there. It is not as there's not a lot of lingering inventory in this neighborhood.
There's really not. There are always going to be the houses that are maybe overpriced initially, or don't, the condition that people are looking for doesn't meet the price that they want. And there's some that we've had this happen before, where we work our butts off and bring a house on the market, and 3 days after we bring it on, the seller goes, "I'm not being transferred now, I'm being fired."
And it is so weird, because I would say that if we were to actually look into that leftover 25 or 27 homes that are still active from previous 30 days, I bet they would be on the fringes. I would bet they would be that 5 million plus, and I would bet they would be like 80 to 100,000 below, and I bet they'd be extremely amazing, or just in like near like, what do I do with this house?
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt. If you're in the middle with the bullseye, those are the elements that are really moving in and out of the market quickly, as we can see with what was it, 27 pending in 30 days.
So if there's any other zip codes that you'd like to have this information on, or if you'd like more detail on all the active listings that are there, if even if you're not interested in selling right now, you just have an interest, we're happy to provide that. That's part of what we do.
And just remember, we want to be realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.